What it do? What's good, YouTube? Back with another one. You feel me? And it's a new little reaction video we about to get into. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling good like I told y'all. You know what I'm saying? I think it's the third one of the day. You feel me? I'm gonna try to keep this consistent. You know what I'm saying? Try to keep these videos coming at y'all. Three of them a day. You feel me? 3 of them a day. I feel like that's pretty good. You feel me? But this right here, it's a little crime shit. Some little crime shit. I'm gonna hop right into it. This is live. I don't fake none of my reactions. You watch this shit together. I'm gonna put y'all down here. You can see me down here with it. You feel me? Family dinner ending brutal massacre.
Hey everybody, my name is Sam,
I don't
aka
know
Sam
what's
Bucha,
gonna
and I'm
happen here. But you know me, I fucking hate ads, bro. I hate this ad shit. Let's get straight into it though. Ohio.
Easter Sunday in 1975 started off as a normal Easter holiday for the Rupert family, but soon turned into a nightmare that is now dubbed
1975. That's when Wilt was getting them buckets.
as the deadliest family massacre in American history. Stay tuned as we uncover how a seemingly harmless man managed to murder 11 members of his family.
Oh, hell
James
no.
Urban Rupert was born on March 29, 1934, to his mother Charity and father Leonard Rupert.
Old as hell.
He, along with his older brother, Leonard Jr., grew up in Hamilton, Ohio. However, their small family was far from normal, as Leonard Sr., who was known to have a violent temper, made his children's childhood traumatic. To make matters worse,
They should have killed this nigga off rip. This nigga shouldn't even been alive. What's wrong with him?
Charity picked her favorites when the boys were still young, always favoring her brighter and more confident older child, Leonard, over her younger son. James grew up in a hostile
This nigga look crazy.
environment and was often told by his mother that she wished he was never born since she wanted a daughter in his place.
Oh, nah.
As expected from a child who grew up without parental affection, this negatively impacted Rupert's self-confidence, and he grew up to become a loner. His parents' carelessness constantly cost him, including his father's insistence on keeping chickens around their house, causing him to develop an allergy to the feathers. Despite his allergy, his parents showed little to no concern for his well-being as they continued to keep the chickens around.
Oh, so this nigga ended their lives. That's the nigga that went crazy. They thought he was gonna be a girl and shit. And he not no girl and shit. He got tight. Turned into the school shooter.
When Rupert turned 12 in 1947,
Nigga
his
Rupert.
father became deathly ill and soon died of tuberculosis.
Rest
However,
in peace, Pops.
his days of torment were far from over as his older brother quickly took over their father's role and went out of his way to harass his younger brother. As a result, Rupert's performance in school was severely lacking as compared to his brother. With no friends to offer him any support, Rupert found himself dealing with everything on his own as Charity continued to ignore his existence. The constant bullying at home and school got so bad that at the age of 16, Rupert decided to end things once and for all.
Damn. Rupert, bro. What's up with you, gang? That's sad. You was getting bullied.
He took sheets from his home and tried to hang himself.
Oh.
However, he failed to succeed in his suicidal attempt.
Oh.
This marked an important event in Rupert's life, as he stopped making any effort towards improving his life and accepted his fate as the inferior son. This became Rupert's first and only suicide attempt. Not surprisingly, Rupert grew to hate both his brother and mother. By the time he reached college, he stood at 5
This nigga looks fucking crazy.
feet 6 inches and only weighed 135 pounds.
Little ass
He
boy.
spent 2 years in college before giving up on it as well, while his brother once again surpassed him and graduated with a degree in electrical engineering. It helped that Leonard Jr. had his mother's full support. His resentment towards his brother grew to a dangerous level when Leonard Jr. married one of Rupert's former girlfriends named Alma, a girl that he never
Stole my bitch. So you better than me at the school shit. My dukes fuck with you more than me. Now you gonna steal my bitch?
lost feelings for. This would later be cited as a motive for his rampage. Rupert began to feel as if the entire world was against him and resigned himself to an unremarkable life, accepting defeat.
He's tight. He
trained to become a draftsman, but remained unemployed for the majority of his life, leaving him with no choice but to continue living with his mother, often borrowing money from her and Leonard Jr., while his brother not only managed to get a job with General Electric, he also bought a house in Fairfield where he lived with Alma and their 8 children, 17-year-old Leonard III, 16-year-old Michael, 15-year-old Thomas.
Why is everyone spiraling over unskippable
I'm locked into the vid, man. Like, why the ad gotta come locked in? Damn.
Carol, 12-year-old Anne, 11 years old David,
It's a big
9-year-old
family.
Teresa, and 4-year-old John.
It's a big-ass family.
Perhaps because he was so frustrated with his life, Rupert developed an affinity for
This
guns.
nigga ugly as shit,
Among
bro.
his
I ain't gonna lie,
collection,
bro.
he had a .357 Magnum, 2 .22 handguns, and a .22 rifle. Two
Hold
things
on, bro. He
became
had that shit on him. School shooter. He dad looked like one too.
ritual for Rupert: drinking and target practicing. Rupert had turned to drinking to deal with the toxic environment
this
at
nigga
home,
just drink and
as
shoot?
well as to numb his feelings of
School
inferiority.
shooter.
As he got older and remained unemployed, Charity, tired of his drinking, threatened to evict
whiskey
him
on the rock.
unless he paid rent. However, since he had lost all of his money during the stock market crash of
But that nigga dad look
1973
like a
to
school shooter, bro.
1974, Rupert had no way to pay his portion of the rent. Although Charity intended for this
Ain't
threat
get
to
no bread
motivate him
either.
to get his life back on track, she unknowingly pushed him towards his breaking point. As the threat of eviction loomed over his head, Rupert began to approach his breaking point. While purchasing ammunition one day, he inquired about silencers, but did not end.
Bro, he's such a little nigga though. Like, he's really a little nigga. He's just a little nigga, bro. He mad short, scrawny. But he gonna up that pole. You feel me? He gonna up
ended up
that pole.
going through with the purchase. On March 29th, 1975, Rupert turned 41.
He
On
kind
his
of looked
birthday,
normal.
He was seen at the Great Miami
Yeah,
River
look, he
in
did him
Hamilton
good.
shooting cans, and this became pivotal in helping the prosecution build their case against him. It can be argued that he was possibly preparing for one of the deadliest nights in Hamilton, Ohio. That night, Rupert stumbled into a bar called the 19th Hole Cocktail Lounge. He met 28-year-old mother of 5, Wanda Bishop, who worked at the cocktail lounge, and confessed that his mother was threatening to evict him if he failed to find a job to pay for his portion of the rent. Charity had told him that if he could
I
afford to
can't. This picture right here, dog. This picture right here, dog. This picture right here, dog.
pay for his drinks, he could pay her rent as well. Wanda recalled that Rupert insisted that he had to find a way to solve the problem.
This nigga
Rupert
ugly
stayed
as
in the
shit,
cocktail
bro. What's
lounge
going on?
until
This nigga
11
dad
p.m.
look
before
straight
leaving,
school shooter.
but soon returned
No
and
wonder why your
continued
bitch got took,
drinking
nigga.
until the lounge closed at 2:30 a.m. When Wanda asked him if he had managed to resolve his problem, Rupert replied, "No, not yet." The next morning, Charity, who was not feeling well, called Leonard Jr. and his family for Easter dinner, instead of an early lunch at their house, 635 Minor Avenue. Once
This
Leonard
that shit
Jr.
look
and
weak.
Alma,
Hold on.
635
Where's the food? You gonna put that shit on a plate, bitch?
and his family for
Grab
Easter
all
dinner,
that. Look.
instead of an
Show
early
me.
lunch at their house,
Fuck going on, bitch? Put the rest on the plate, bitch. No fuck.
635 Minor Avenue. Once Leonard Jr.
You ain't give me
and
no
Alma
portion.
arrived, their children participated in an Easter egg hunt outside
That shit look weak,
while
too.
Rupert slept in late, nursing a hangover from the previous night. By the time he got up at 4 p.m., everyone had moved inside to continue the celebration, while Charity prepared sloppy joes for the family, and Alma helped put them together. Rupert stayed with the family for a short
this
while
nigga Rupert,
before
bro.
returning upstairs to retrieve a .357 Magnum, 2 .22 handguns, and a rifle. He intended to head to a shooting range to spend his day, but as he was leaving, his brother asked him, "How's the Volkswagen?" Rupert took this as an insult, as Leonard Jr.'s comments reminded him of his own failure.
Yo, why you checking me about my car, nigga? What you checking me about my car for, nigga? You already got my bitch. What you need about what I'm driving for, huh? Take this walk.
To lead a successful life like his brother.
Take this walk.
Instead of leaving for the shooting range as planned, Rupert made a split-second decision that not only altered the trajectory of his life forever, but also robbed 11 people of their lives.
Damn.
At 6 p.m., Charity, Leonard, Alma, their son David, and daughters Tessa and Carol, who were in the kitchen, became Rupert's first victims as he fired off several shots in rapid succession, hitting all of them in the chest, except for his mother, whom he shot in the head as she jumped at him to try and prevent him from killing anyone else. He then moved to the living room where he shot his niece Anne, Leonard III, Michael, and John. After his initial shots, Rupert went around and shot everyone several more times to make sure that they were dead.
After the initial shooting, and if people were moaning and groaning still, he shot them in the head.
The entire ordeal took less than 5 minutes, with Rupert only stopping in the middle to reload. All in all, he fired 44 shots, out of which 40 hit the victims. After making sure that everyone...
That's good aim! That's good aim! Oh my gosh! 44? 40 for 44? Oh! John Wick!
...was dead, Rupert sat with his family's dead bodies for 3 hours, contemplating suicide, but decided that since it was a mortal sin, he did not want it to be his last act. After 3 hours, he decided to make a 911 call. He told the 911 dispatcher that there has been a shooting.
As his relatives took their last breaths around him, Rupert
He
sat on
snitched on
the
himself?
couch. He waited there for 3 to 4 hours before he called police to tell them someone's been shot.
When officers arrived at the scene a few minutes later...
Wait, there was news in the 1975? Like
Rupert
that?
greeted
They
them
was
at the
coloring
front
shit like
door.
that?
At first glance, the officers did not suspect that anything sinister was waiting for them beyond the
That shit
front
low-key
door,
look elite.
since Rupert, with his short stature and thick black-framed glasses, did not fit into the usual description of a murderer. As the officers entered the house, they were in for the shock of a lifetime. One of the responding officers also reported that he had never seen anything like the crime scene before him, and that he had to rush to the side to throw up. There was so much blood on the floors that it had
11
seeped through the
people, bro,
wooden
that's
floorboards and was
OD.
dripping into the
Nigga,
basement.
40
There
for
was no sign of
44 is
struggle inside
crazy.
the house except for an overturned trash can, indicating that because the family had not expected this, they did not have enough time to react. As the Hamilton Police Department was made aware of the shocking discovery, they immediately covered the area with police tape as people began to gather around. The small
sad,
community
man.
that had known the Rupert family as a loving family was taken by surprise at the tragedy, and was even more horrified to find that the helpful and modest man they had known their whole lives was behind the murders. The first body to leave the house was of little John, with his sneaker peeking out of the sheet drawn over him. Dread began to fill everyone as one by one, 11 stretchers were brought out of the house, all carrying the now dead members of the Rupert family.
The site was in 2 rooms of a modest 2-story Hamilton home where James Rupert lived with his mother. In 2 rooms, 11 bodies, including Rupert's mother, Rupert's brother, his brother's wife, and their 8 children, the oldest 17, the youngest a 4-year-old boy.
Rupert was arrested on the counts of 11 aggravated homicides. Despite being known as a demure but helpful man, Rupert remained uncooperative with the officers and refused to answer any of their questions. Investigators struggled to find a motive since the suspect in custody refused to say anything. During the initial questioning, it was made clear by Rupert that he planned on pleading insanity. The prosecutors believed that Rupert planned on taking advantage of the $300,000 worth of inheritance left by both his brother and mother in the form of their properties and assets. By pleading guilty, he would serve time at a court-appointed facility before being released and getting hold of the inheritance. This case led to 2 high-profile trials. During the initial trial, Rupert admitted to killing his family, but pleaded innocent by reason of insanity. Rupert was represented by Hugh D. Holbrook, who became so dedicated to the case that he even personally funded the hiring of psychiatrists and psychologists from all over the country to testify in favor of Rupert's insanity plea. 2 psychiatrists who were brought on by his defense team concluded that Rupert suffered from paranoia and delusions of persecution that were brought on by the beatings he had endured during his early life at the hands of his brother. This is why, they argued, he had been unable to control his actions at the time of the crime.
Oh my God.
Harvard University psychiatrist Dr. Lester Grinspoon supplied his expert opinion, claiming that if more people were present in the house, Rupert might have killed them as well, pushing the narrative that Rupert did not have a solid motive other than insanity.
After the slaughter, James Rupert
He killed a 4-year-old. What's the excuse?
He was charged and tried for 11 murders. His attorney said he killed during a psychotic rage. They said he was insane.
Along those same lines, Doctor, isn't it true that you have no way of telling the court what Mr. Rupert's ability to rationally discuss the case with his attorneys, to rationally assist in the preparation of a defense would be if he were not under the effect of either a major tranquilizer such as Thorazine or Trilofan at this time? Isn't that right?
I have no specific way of telling that other than to say that during the course of my examination with him, he was able at that time and under that condition with that dosage of medication to rationally confer with me.
This nigga just look like a school shooter. He just looks smart as shit.
At the same time, the prosecution argued that Rupert planned to misuse the insanity plea to inherit the $300,000 inheritance.
He murdered his family
Yeah.
to collect his brother's $300,000 or so in life insurance. That's what I think. That's what I think the evidence showed, and that's what I believe.
It's
Instead of having his case presented in front of a jury, Rupert decided,
Get your ship together. Good job.
good.
The commerce
Are you
platform
serious?
designed for
Come on,
entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
Buy-
give me that.
to
Give me
have
that.
his
Give me that
case
skip
tried in front of 3 judges. However, he was incorrectly told that all 3 of the judges would have to agree unanimously on a decision. 2 out of the 3 judges found Rupert sane and convicted him on 11 counts of aggravated murder. He was sentenced to serve 11 consecutive life sentences. During 1975, the United States had banned the death penalty, saving Rupert from being given a death sentence.
Bro, what?
The 3rd Hamilton County Judge, Fred Kramer,
killed
however,
11 people.
found Rupert insane.
Insane?
Between the years 1977 and 1978, the Supreme Court of Ohio ruled that there had been a mistrial since the judges did not know whether they needed to unanimously agree on a decision or have a majority rule. Rupert was granted another trial that was determined to be held in
Bro,
favor
how
of
long is he
Ohio,
going to figure out
since
just
it was
that
deemed
y'all
that
got
he
to
could
kill
not
this
receive a fair
school
trial
shooter,
in
man?
the city of Hamilton. On July the 23rd, 1975,
This should take too
the new
long.
trial began, where Rupert and his defense team once again argued for the insanity plea. However, the prosecution led by John Holcomb brought forward 29 witnesses and presented 200 exhibits in court, successfully building a different line of reasoning. He argued that his inquiry into the silencers, practicing his shooting, and talking about his mother as a problem that needed to be resolved were all pointing towards the fact that this mass murder was a carefully plotted crime, especially given the fact that the shooting had been carried out at a time when the church bells had begun ringing, hence drowning out the noise from the gunshots, preventing anyone from calling the authorities. He went on to say that Rupert planned on aiming for the insanity plea because that would ensure that he would be sent to the Lima, a state mental hospital where he would eventually be declared sane. This would allow him to easily inherit the $300,000 worth of inheritance left behind by Leonard and
This nigga
Charity,
smart, though. I ain't
which
gonna
he would
lie.
not be able to do if he was convicted of murder. Based on the prosecution's convincing argument, Rupert was once again sentenced to 11 consecutive life sentences. A few years later, in 1982, on appeal, Rupert was granted another trial, where his defense attorney was able to convince the jury to grant him an insanity plea. Rupert was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for his brother and mother, but found not guilty for the remaining 9 counts of murder by reason of insanity. The only family member to attend the trial was Alma's mother, Edna Allgaier. She blamed Rupert for 13 deaths, including her husband, who took his own life 3 years after the incident on Easter Day, as well as a juror who collapsed during the trial and died of a heart attack. When
OD.
Edna passed away, her headstone proclaimed that she was preceded by 8 grandchildren. At the age of 48, Rupert was incarcerated by the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction at the Franklin Medical Center in Columbus. 13 years later, at the age of 61, Rupert was granted another parole hearing by the State Parole Board, but was denied release. He was granted 2 more parole hearings, one in 2005 and another one in 2015. During all of these parole hearings, he was denied release. During his last hearing in 2015, the Allen Oakwood Correctional Institutional Parole Board released a statement that indicated that Rupert was not suitable for release due to his negative institutional conduct, as well as a strong community objection to his release. 7 years later, Rupert died at the age of 88 of natural causes, having spent 47 years in prison.
The man who shot and killed 11 family members on Easter 1975 has died. James Rupert died over the weekend at Franklin Medical Center in Columbus at the age of 8.
It's heavy, man. It's heavy, dog. That was crazy. That was fucking crazy. I ain't even gonna lie. I fucked with that video. I ain't gonna lie. That shit was fucked. That was fire. I ain't gonna lie. That was fire. That nigga Rupert, man, got away with 9 bodies for insanity. Still spent the rest of his life in jail like he deserved. Killed a 4-year-old bitch ass nigga. You a hoe. I'm done with this one. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. And I'm out, bro.